Broadcasting from the Blanchardstown Centre. This is Phoenix FM.
This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, it's JB Jeremy Borash, and you are listening to Darrow O'Connor on the...
Welcome to the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling.
Okay, folks, welcome to the Wrestling Rewind here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, Nerd to Know Media on YouTube, and of course the Wrestling Rewind, the True Penny Channel. Thank you so much for joining us. The only wrestling podcast by wrestling fans who don't hate wrestling. My name is Darrell Connor, and joining me is the one, the only Mr. 1-0, Martin Hardy. Everything's Martin.
We don't hate wrestling, but Dara, sometimes it's hard.
You know what, right? So this show is going to be a little bit different than what we normally do, and when I did the video on YouTube, I said we luckily don't have to talk about this kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You know, there was times when...
This is a real throwback.
This is a throwback, yeah, and not in a good way.
No.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when I started in the wrestling media, this would be very common, where, you know, such and such would have passed you, and you're just like, oh, you know. And luckily in the past...
Guys in the 70s and 80s were just
dropping dead.
Drugged up the whole time and then dying at 45.
Dying at 45, or, you know, you'd hear of Test, or,
you
know, way before.
Particularly tragic, given he was going out with Stacy Keibler. My God.
Yeah, well, he had a run in TNA as the Punisher Andrew Martin, so that was... I remember him, and that's how I remember Test.
Yeah.
But no, it's... All joking aside, it was sad. It's always sad when that happened. In the past couple of years, we haven't had that, but news broke like a week ago that Sabu just passed.
Yeah.
After like 2 weeks out from his retirement match, which we talked about on the show, and we were kind of horrified by it, and you know how stiff and bad it looked, as far as like he looked like he was in pretty bad shape.
2 weeks out from his retirement match, and only 60 years old.
Only 60, dude. I didn't think he was that young.
Oh, like 60
I thought Sabu was like 60 years ago.
60 nowadays is... You still have a good run left in you.
Oh, yeah, 60.
60.
Yeah, absolutely. So for him to just drop dead in very unexpected circumstances is crazy. And, you know, we talked about a little bit about some of the Joey Janela stuff, his drugs that he was given before he went out.
Yes. So for anyone who hasn't heard the previous podcast, basically Sabu was... kind of just barely able to walk.
He wasn't able to walk
before the CZW show, and Joey Janela, in a really weird kind of jokey, laughy way, admitted, I gave him a load of drugs, so he was able to...
He made it clear that he didn't give him like heroin.
Yeah, it wasn't black tar heroin.
No, some kind of a upper, yeah.
Yeah, which is equivalent to saying, I killed him, but I didn't skin him alive.
It's very weird that he put it that way. But, you know, it then would transpire that he would just die. Now, we don't really know what he died of.
No, so we don't want to make any...
Yeah, we still don't know that.
Just not... Even if that wasn't what led to it, it's still just not respected.
It's not
It's just not good practice.
Yeah, like, it's... Joey Janela has a lot of stuff around him. And, I mean, I lost a lot of respect. I didn't really have that much, didn't really know that much about him, but I was just like, well, man, the man's dead. He's just dead. And, you know, it was just awful to hear someone just be that flippant about it, you know? But look, that's not what we're talking about here. It did kind of get a lot of people talking about Sabu, which is great. AEW did a tribute, WWE did a tribute. But the one we're going to talk about is the one that gets overlooked, in my opinion. I talked about it a little bit on the video. TNA in 2005 into 2006 was peak Sabu.
Yeah.
Because when he came back to WWE, I loved his the stuff he did, even though it was super limited. His match with Cena was great. His match with the Big Show was very good
and
too.
And the ECW stuff
And the ECW
was
stuff.
legendary. Like the original ECW stuff was legendary, but ECW had that really limited kind of camera and production work.
Yeah.
So I think the sweet spot with this kind of run of TNA shows is that you got ECW or nearly ECW Sabu, but with like a significantly higher quality of
budget
of production and filming, because you can see it from all the angles.
But the thing about it is, at this time period, we're like 4 years out from the death of ECW. We're a year out from WWECW. So everyone involved, if they were an ECW alumni, are still, or alumnus, they're still in good working condition, you know? So Sabu at this point, he's still Sabu.
Yeah.
And
Best is the best. Rhino is Rhino.
Rhino's Rhino.
Kind of like you're the big TNA guy. Would you say is this the golden age, or
Yeah.
is the golden age more centered around like AJ Styles?
No, well, AJ Styles was still there. This is when he was doing it. 2005 to 2007 is the golden age of TNA.
The house that AJ built.
Yeah, well, the house and Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, like, you know. But anyway, so look, TNA did something really, really cool. On their YouTube channel, we will link below. They put out a playlist. And not only a playlist, they put out a video. They actually made a video of like a bunch of matches.
Yeah.
With Sabu in them. And
full matches. Up-res from what I assume they were at the time, or at least to fit modern screens, I guess.
Yeah, well, they obviously would run it through a HD.
Right, that's what it was. That's what it was.
But there is only one match in there that I would have removed, and that's the Hardcore Justice one with RVD.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that was trying to be something that it could never be.
I mean, I get the significance of it because it was the ECW tribute thing, but if any of the listeners aren't aware, we've reviewed Hardcore Justice, and it's an experience.
Basically,
not a good one.
Martin will never again say, "I wish to see an ECW show run by ECW people."
I'll never again say, "I wish."
But no, I mean, like, that, I think that was included because of the significance of it.
Yeah,
because they didn't have a better match.
Yeah,
you know. But it is one you can skip. But the rest of the playlist is actually like really, really, if not good, great.
Yeah.
So
and even we're not good, like really great spots, really great moments in it.
So we're not going to cover everything on it. We will kind of we do
recommend you watch all of it.
Yeah, we're going to focus on 3 matches specifically. But like the reason why we're not doing all of it is one for time, but also he wrestles Abyss a lot. Like three of them are Abyss matches, and like they're not the same.
They're good, but if you've seen one.
Well, yeah, look, the one I would say to watch, to be fair, like 2 of them are no disqualification matches, and they're kind of the same match again, but the Barbed Wire Massacre match with Abyss from Turning Point 2005
that's pretty cool.
Is a pretty good one to watch. We're not going to talk about those. We are going to talk about one that starts it off, and it's like super early into TNA. It's from their weekly pay-per-views, and it's one that, Martin, you've never seen before.
Never, no.
And it's someone like, it's so crazy because around that time, it still has a lot of WCW, WWA guys.
Yeah.
Crowbars randomly in this. You know? And we were watching it going, who's that guy? It's like, oh my God, it's Crowbar. You know? So.
What's Crowbar doing in the Impact Zone?
It wasn't even, it was the Asylum. It wasn't the Impact Zone. So, but this match was Sabu versus Malice. And Malice single-handedly has...
Malice! Who the F is Malice?
His tattoos are a thing of wonder.
Yes, they are 13-year-old emulating Goldberg.
Okay, here's a real question. Who has the worst tattoos?
Oh.
Him or Lance Hoyt?
Oh, see...
Not current Lance Hoyt.
Okay.
Tramp Stamp.
Okay, right. Not current Lance Hoyt.
No, TNA.
Tramp Stamp Lance Hoyt will always be the worst.
At least his tattoos go together. Malice's tattoos are like random collection of like I want this cool one and this cool one.
Yeah.
It's like someone who lost to run themselves with like temporary tattoos.
Yeah. Whereas Lance's had a theme, which
Yeah.
was bum me. But at least it was a theme. At least it was a consistent theme.
Yeah.
Whereas Malice's theme is, here's a load of cool stuff I saw other people do.
Yeah, just like randomly and
Put it on me.
So with that being said, the match itself, it's a hardcore team match, but it's not a hardcore match. It's actually a ladder match
Yes.
for a shot at the TNA title. Ken Shamrock's name is on it. So this is when Ken Shamrock was having his run in TNA, his first run in TNA. And yeah, nobody knew Sabu was going to be there. So it was a big shock for the audience. And that was one of the really cool things about early TNA. Because the weekly shows would have random people show up.
Yeah.
Macho Man, Lex Luger,
Once.
once. No, I said they'd show up. I didn't say they'd come back. You know, Scott Hall.
Another thing was the contract was secured with a very, very tight clamp, as opposed to the kind of loose hook that they used to use where Everton fell off it all the time.
Oh, and also it's a normal ladder match, not a reverse ladder match.
No, exactly. So
Just a straightforward ladder match.
it's a topsy-turvy TNA.
So what did you think of this one, Martin? As like from the outset and kind of starting off this playlist, do you think this kind of summed up Sabu?
Really enjoyed it because, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about Sabu, but I really enjoyed this because I had no idea who Malice was, and it was actually a really good match. And I think what I liked about it was that it took the Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit approach to ladder matches. There was dives, but it wasn't like the violence didn't come from really huge dives or anything. The violence came from real nasty use of the ladder. So at one point, Malice lifts Sabu up into like a power slam, but he lifts him with the ladder. So Sabu is laying on the ladder and Malice lifts him with the ladder. And then when he does the body slam, it's onto the ladder. And it's one of those things where you're just looking at going, oh, that would suck.
It really was like a vicious match.
Nasty. Like, so you can see the big flips and you're like, whoa, wow, oh. But when you see stuff like that, you're just like, oh, that would be horrible.
But Malice was a pretty big guy. Now, unfortunately, he would this would be in 2002, 2003. He would die in 2003 at the age of 36. So a very young guy, really. Yeah. But he was a very, very big dude. Sabu wasn't a small guy either, but he could pick Sabu up like a child.
Yeah.
And just, the ladder spot does stick with me because not only does he pick Sabu up, but when he slams him onto that ladder, it's the force of them not falling, being thrown. And you could just hear it. It is nasty. And they're not even like the nice, clean WWE ladders.
No, it's a ladder.
It's a ladder from Walmart or Home Depot or something, you know?
Oh God, we got this ladder match. Go out and buy a load of ladders.
Oh, a bunch of ladders. And you can tell, when they come out, there's no give on them. It's just
no,
that sucks. Yes, it does. But you have all your main Sabu spots here. You have the chair
throw is
bunch of tables.
The chair throw is
it's iconic.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yes, it is absolutely iconic.
Yeah.
Because it's always cool. It always looks like it hurts.
Because it probably does.
Yeah, because it's throwing a chair in your face.
Also, as well, one thing we've noticed, if we go through the other two matches we're going to talk, Sabu doesn't need the gig.
No.
He just bleeds because he's getting properly wellied in the face.
He's a bleeder, yeah.
He's a bleeder, yeah.
He's getting serious. So he gets a horrific, so a couple of weeks ago we reviewed or possibly a couple of weeks in the future, it's the magic of radio, who knows, we reviewed In Your House Final 4, and in it Vader gets a very serious eye injury. I'm actually surprised the match goes on, and Sabu gets an eerily similar eye injury in this match.
About halfway through, and he's just bleeding more and more profusely as the match is going on. But it adds to it. I mean, I don't know if it's the longer hair and just the approach. When Sabu is bleeding, he looks more like Sabu.
Yes.
And it's a weird thing to say because when he walks out, he's covered in all these scars and he's in bits.
Yeah.
But it's not like it makes him look tougher,
It's like seeing Cactus Jack without blood. It's like, Why are you dressed formally? What's going on?
It's just it takes a little bit of time to settle in. It's not the best match of the playlist, but it really is kind of a good way to ease into it.
Yeah, it's a good introduction to Sabu. It's not the best match, but it kind of gives you a flavor of all the kind of big high spots he would have. One
thing I picked up on, because we rewatched these before we did this, one thing I picked up on that you might not have, having this kind of one-on-one match with a bigger guy who's there pretty much to take the spots and give the spots.
Yeah.
It gives the production an opportunity to really introduce you to Sabu.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. Because as you said, in ECW, like the original ECW, they didn't have the money. It was a one camera setup and that was it. But with this, you can see, when they're doing the chair, it's double camera cut.
Yeah, and you get a lot more of the character work and you're seeing a lot more. Like in ECW, you see Sabu do the huge moves. You don't see the pain.
No, you don't see Sabu.
You see him dive out of the ring through the table. But then you don't see the up close look of his face. But like the dude's in genuine pain.
Now, did you ever see Sabu in WCW?
Oh yes,
he was
very briefly.
He was only in WCW very briefly.
Yeah,
but this presentation of TNA is the closest you'll see to like its DNA, because it is WCW.
Yeah,
just fused with ECW, and this is the closest presentation to a modern, at the time, WCW kind of stuff. So when he was there, they shot him very much the same way. It honestly would shock me if the guys they were using weren't ex-WCW guys.
Yeah.
The only thing that gave these matches away at the time, and we see it with, like when you're watching the Monsters Ball match, it happened again. The production staff would run away at the end of the finish. So there's
to set up the next
one. So you see it really clearly. So you can see it happening here if you know where you're looking. But in the Monsters Ball match, you'll see this guy with a ponytail book it just before Rhino wins. You're like, oh man, come on. I know they're going home, but you don't need to like be that obvious.
Yeah, it's it's one of my, to this day, one of my hugest pet peeves in wrestling. And some of the AEW guys still do it. Most don't. Chris Jericho was the god-awful worst for it. But do you know that thing where they're going to kick out, so they keep their eyes open and they look directly at the referee?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that ruins it for me. Like, close your eyes. It's a 3 count. Once you hear 2...
Kick out.
But Chris Jericho's the worst for... Chris Jericho doesn't look up at the referee. He does these huge, bulging, googly eye, like he's trying to tickle the referee with his eyeballs.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it just...
Now I'm going to watch that the whole time.
It's once you see it, you can't unsee it.
But see, I mean, I can understand that in the ring to an extent. This is like the backstage.
Yeah.
Use an earpiece. What do you...
Use a walkie-talkie.
Like again, you can see it in this match a little bit, but obviously the asylum was laid out. It was a little bit smaller, but a little bit bigger. The 6-sided ring means they had to like adjust it. And in the Monsters Ball 2, you can see the guy just hanging out at ringside. He's like, I gotta go now. He just runs, and it's like, oh, come on, walkie-talkies. But this match, really good, a really good way to introduce you to Sabu in this TNA run. It's very, very good.
Now, before we move on to the next match, because I want to get this in before
personal stories. Let's do it.
Before I was introduced to Sabu, so when I was wrestling in Cork, we actually got Sabu down for one of our shows. He flew into Cork Airport. And
he flew into
Cork Airport. Sabu. Genocidal, homicidal, suicidal maniac. Flew into Cork Airport. And I picked him up. Not just him, he was with his partner, possibly wife at the time.
So did you call him Sabu, or did you call him like...
Oh no, I wasn't going to. I'm not going to call the Undertaker Mark.
I'm saying it's like, because the Sheik would refuse to talk to anyone if they didn't call him, even his own family.
Yeah. Well, look, I it never came to that because I just called him Sabu.
Oh, fair. Okay, that makes sense.
You know, because he's Sabu. Well, we're not
I
gonna
know, but like you're hanging out with him, like
what's his name? Terry.
Terry.
I'm going to rock up this guy who's been training to do suplexes for 2 years. I'm going to rock up to Sabu and be like, oh, well, Terry, we're equals. But, so yeah, I went out, like I said, he was with his partner or wife or whoever at the time. She didn't appear a lot in his, she's got the Aladdin gear on and all that.
Did she?
I can't even remember her name.
Because that's what the Sheik's wife used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a Chris Benoit type, what do you call him? Kevin
Sullivan.
Sullivan situation. Whatever it was, I picked up Sabu and his missus, and the genocidal, homicidal, suicidal maniac could not have been nicer. I drove him out picked him up in Cork and in the airport, and we drove in, and he chatted away. And
What did he talk about?
well, this is the thing. If you want to just chat about being in Ireland, he'd be like, oh, yeah, man, I've been in Ireland a couple of times. You know, wrestled here, it was really nice, wrestled there. And if you wanted to like be a trainee wrestler and say, hey, do you have any advice? Do you think, what about doing this, what am I doing that? More than happy to give you any advice.
Did you ask him?
Oh, I was just like, kind of a little bit starstruck. But also, I was kind of, imagine you meet God, right? I'm not saying Sabu's God, but I'm just saying, imagine you meet God and he has the answer to every question you've ever wanted to know. And he says, why don't you ask me a question? And you'd be like,
Because you have so many.
yeah, because so many.
Yeah.
So I just kind of remember asking him about character work and about, like, oh, what was he thinking? Like, you know, is the hardcore style worth it? Like, should I lean into that or should I like really stick to like more of the, because I was like, my two favorite wrestlers are Bret Hart and Mick Foley. So I was kind of like, which
one should I
which
go
of
for?
these pads? But no, man, he laid out that he's like, look at me, dude, I'm going to get out of this car and I'm going to wrestle this match tonight and it's going to be amazing, but I'm going to hobble out of this car and I'm going to hobble to the arena. But so he went and he did the match. Great match. A big 4-way hardcore, no DQ Sabu match. And he did all the Sabu stuff. He did the chair out of the ring, the tables, the leg drop, the throwing the chair. It was vintage Sabu.
Was there barbed wire?
There was the ring wasn't in barbed wire, but we had actually, and I'm gutted, I got drunk and I gave it to a couple of Germans and I shouldn't have. They wanted barbed wire stuff for the barbed wire match, so I went and wrapped my Hurley
In barbed wire.
in barbed wire
Ah.
and I gave it to them for the match and I got it after and I was like, my barbed wire hurl has Sabu's blood on it. And whatever happened, I was at a party one night and I got stone drunk and I gave it to these Germans. But anyway, after the match, Sabu, like stinking like a horse, covered in blood, hops into my car because we were working for a dreadful promoter at the time, didn't have showers or anything backstage.
Oh no.
And I drove him back out to his hotel and we get out of the hotel and do you know, at the time I was very self-conscious about, and I even hate the term now, not appearing like a mark. So I would meet all these great wrestlers and I would never ask for like a photo or anything with them.
Oh man.
But drop Sabu off at the hotel and got out of the car and opened the back to go get his bag. And he gave me a big hug. Didn't ask for it. Just came in, he was like, really appreciate it, brother. Thanks. And he came in to give me a big hug.
Well, covered in blood.
Covered, I didn't give a shit. But it's something I've found with the different wrestlers I've met, that the more deranged their personality, like
The nicer they are.
genuinely nicer.
It's like Mick Foley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% Mick Foley.
I've met Mick Foley like 3 times.
Yeah,
All the times when he was signing books. Never met
What
him in
a
a
great
wrestling.
guy.
What a great guy, yeah, for real.
nice guy. Like and Sabu, I couldn't believe was genuinely caught off guard. So look, I didn't know Sabu.
You should. I would have asked to see the scar for the super glue. He glued his muscle back
You
together.
could not see it.
Did you see it?
His whole body is.
Yeah, but his whole, when he ripped the muscle
No,
off
but
his arm.
this is what I mean. It's like, it's almost indistinguishable because
Really?
when you see him topless in real life, like his whole body is just these
Scars.
thick ropes of scar tissue.
Man.
You know, but look, I'm not pretending I didn't know Sabu. I gave him 2 lifts one time. I'd say I spent 40 minutes, me and him personally chatting. But in my experience, what a great guy, and what a genuinely sad loss for wrestling fans.
There you go. Like, I mean, that's pretty cool, man. I never got a chance to meet Sabu, never got a chance to interview Sabu, but that's really cool that you had that and could share that, because, like, I didn't know. Again, I didn't get a chance. I saw Sabu wrestle one time only. I was 14, 15, if I was. WWA, our favourite promotion.
Oh, the only promotion.
The only promotion. And it's on Cage Match incorrectly, because you say it's in the RDS. I believe it was in the Point. I could be corrected, but I do remember being in the Point, because I have a picture of it there. And it was a hardcore match, Sabu and Norman Smiley. And he...
Amazing.
He did all the Sabu stuff. It was like 2002.
It's a hardcore match. Sabu and Brandon Cutler.
No, man, he did all the hardcore stuff. The chair, tables, blah, blah, blah. And I remember I was talking to my dad there last week when Sabu died, and he was like, "Oh, Sabu, I remember Sabu." I was like, "You remember Sabu?" He goes, "Yeah, the guy with the headdress who jumped off and hit you with chairs." I was like, "Yeah, Sabu." Because how could you not remember
It was
Sabu?
an iconic look, wasn't
Oh
it?
man, like
And even
his music is
amazing.
The TNA one not so much, but the WWE one, the ECW one, and even in AEW they used it properly. It was unreal.
And do you know, for a whole industry where for literally 100 years, fellas have been coming out to the ring or to the crowd and putting their arms in the air, it's so hard to have a genuinely unique kind of gesture to the crowd.
That when you do it, everyone knows what it is.
He had that pointing to the sky one. He had that, and it was awesome.
But here's the thing: he's unparalleled. I mean, when we saw the tributes from CM Punk and from Taz, they all did it, and like everyone, didn't have to tell what it was, because everyone knew what it was straight away. You know,
he's one. Do you know what he is? It's the ultimate testament to a wrestler's popularity. He's one of those guys you could immediately tell by his silhouette.
Yeah,
who it was.
Like it's a horrible shame, but the thing about it is, like, his legacy will live on forever, because he is one of the guys who has inspired so many people. Like, you're talking, you mentioned John Moxley. There's no way John Moxley wasn't.
John Moxley was 14 years old and absolutely nose to the screen watching ECW Sabu.
Even in TNA Abyss, there's no way Abyss wasn't.
No,
I mean, the fact that he wanted to work with work with Sabu so much. Yeah, it's like, come on. I mean, there's no way.
He's a byword. Like, Hulk Hogan's a byword for WWF. Sabu is a byword for ECW.
See, I think that's a disservice. He's a byword for hardcore wrestling. Because, and this is the whole point. Why I want
good point.
We could have sat here, right? We could have sat here and talked about our favorite ECW match.
Yeah,
but that's a disservice. I genuinely believe his best work from a holistic standpoint is in TNA, because you could see it.
Yeah, or
see it
in indies around the world.
Yeah.
Where I am living proof that even when there wasn't a TV crowd, even when he was in the back arse of Cork in front of 150 people, he gave it everything that he gave when he was on pay-per-view.
I got a good bit of voice. Now, it's not the same thing, but I think wrestling and music has a lot of crossovers. Remember, I was asking one band we were opening for a couple of years ago, what advice would you give to, like, a band?
Yeah.
And he's like, play every show. What?
Instruments.
Play every show as if it's a sellout and there's thousands of people there. If there's 5,
amazing
there's
advice,
10. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
That's just amazing life advice.
Yeah. It's like,
everything you do, just do it as if it's
like the biggest thing in the world. Because if it doesn't mean anything to you, why should anyone care? And I think that's when you're watching a Sabu match, you're like, he's going to go out there and it's going to be insane. And he's got to give everything he can. And I mean, like, look, you can see it in ECW, but I think the TNA pool that TNA themselves have pulled in this playlist kind of captures all different spectrums of it.
Yeah.
And with the next match, I really think that sums it up, Martin. Monsters Ball 2, the second Monsters Ball that there was, Bound for Glory 2005, a pay-per-view that we'll probably watch in its entirety because it's great.
Yeah.
Rhino's crowning moment as the TNA champion. But not only,
AEW superstar Rhino.
but you also get to see Jeff Hardy nearly kill himself in one of the most legitimate scary spots in TNA, in wrestling history.
I gotta say, kind of awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, and this was also Jeff Hardy's first run in TNA when he was on substances.
Yeah,
probably all of them.
All of them
in the world.
All of them.
And like this, you can see
which substances. List them. Let me list the ones he wasn't on. Calpol.
But you see, and as a result, like, he just does these insane, crazy spots.
Yeah.
And like, Father James Mitchell runs out and he's literally like, "No, go higher, you'll die." And
so he climbs onto the
stage,
onto the
actual stage,
and you can see where he's like looking at the thing, going, "Am I meant to jump from here?"
He goes the wrong way as well.
You can see Father James come running. I've gone,
you have to go higher.
Down there. Now, I gotta give it to him.
It does look amazing.
It's an amazing.
But
it's so dangerous.
He doesn't hit it with like a lot of slack. He just makes it.
Do you know what as well? So I'm going to say, Dave's are more impressive, not from height, but when they're over something.
Oh, and the swanton, because you need to flip. And make the distance. It's not like he did a frog splash.
So like everybody talks about, like, say, Shane McMahon's Dave off the
SummerSlam stage.
Yeah, SummerSlam, because it's like 50 feet or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's literally just a drop.
Yeah.
Whereas to me, I think, do you remember Kurt Angle's somersault off the stage over the lights?
Oh, it's unreal.
Yeah. That to me is more impressive.
But that's also from TNA.
Exactly.
Perk Angle is peak angle.
Yeah.
I know he hates that name, but come on, like.
But I think that's the same thing with this, because it is quite high, but it's not like lunatic high. It's the fact that he has to clear the distance and get over the edge of the stage and the lights.
So he has to get over the set,
and he has
the stage and the light, and two tables,
and he has a space of 4 feet to safely land.
And if he doesn't do it, he's just dead. Like when he goes over, it's like if he misses, he's just dead, which is like.
But he makes it. Although, as you say, he had that many drugs in his system at his time that even if he didn't, he probably would have finished the match.
But like, we were watching it again, we're like, oh, that looks like a hurt, and he's physically limping. He's pulling himself back. So even with all the stuff in the system, he's like,
look at it, Jeff, you're not that good a seller.
No, it's like you're actually just in bits. But like, even with that said, like, you have Sabu in the ring doing all of his spots, hitting all the crazy stuff with Abyss. Him and Abyss work, like, just like with the first match. I think Abyss is like that brought out with someone who was like, actually good.
Someone who really vibed with.
Yeah.
And look, there were two guys who weren't afraid to, you know, in terms of the hardcore stuff, go the extra mile or really lay it in, you know. Or if someone would suggest something as a joke, what if you strapped your whole head in barbed wire and then did a diving headbutt?
He's there taking notes.
He'd be like,
go on.
Yeah.
Go on, yeah. Here's the bit though. So you haven't seen this match before today.
No.
But you called the end of it because you saw Abyss walk out with the
thumbtacks, and I was like, well, I know who isn't going into them.
There's only one man going to those thumbtacks, and it's the guy who's holding it.
I was telling Dara when we watched this that back when I was wrestling, I could do a top rope moonsault. Loved it. But I was never confident about hitting it on somebody without hurting them. So in my whole career, every top rope moonsault I ever did, someone rolled out of the way. And I think it's the same with Abyss and his thumbtacks, that every time he introduced the thumbtacks, he was the one who went into them.
But it's like in this one, he didn't use the thumbtacks, but that's how he lost the match, because he was trying to. Rhino hits him with one of the best scores ever through a table.
Savage.
Cuts him in half. Cuts him in half.
Yeah. Looks like not one of these scores dive, bounce, flip off. Like one of these goals where he looks like he's trying to run through him.
And the table just smashes it.
The table just gives up.
It's just like, no.
On impact, the table just disintegrates.
And then from there, you have like the go home part of it, which is just, it's just class. But you get Rhino winning his TNA title and really being crowned. It wasn't his only run, but it's why he can't be on my Buckley list.
Yeah, because it's
I mean, he
legitimate world champion.
Well, twice, because he won the ECW champion and
there you go.
Rhino's one of the best of all time. So even though he has all the characteristics of being a Buckley, and he sometimes is, he's also not really. Rhino's one of the best of all time. But Sabu, it's a showcase to see how pivotal he is, because while all this chaos is happening, he's kind of guiding the whole match, and the match is built around him, which is interesting because you have like Jeff Hardy there, he's doing his spots, but he's not there mentally. It really is Abyss and Sabu who are the anchor points in this match. Yeah. Which is really, really cool to see.
No, it's a fantastic match. And again, like, so we talked about earlier how the Malice ladder match is maybe a good introduction to Sabu, because it gives you kind of a flavour of just a kind of a general smattering of all his spots, what he's about. This, if you really want to get to know Sabu, this is him. Yeah. This is kind of his bread and butter.
Like, and there are two other matches, the no disqualification matches from 2005.
Yeah.
On this playlist, which we're not going to talk about. I would say watch them because they kind of build on this as well. There is a spot where Sabu does go into the thumbtacks, to be fair.
Yeah.
In that one. But
this whole playlist is worth watching. And again, like, we genuinely need to give a shout out to TNA for the amount of content that, particularly now that they're in cahoots, secretly bought, who knows, by WWE, the amount of content that they still just give out.
But you know what I think it is as well, right? I've said this before, that like AEW and WWE's main roster are full of TNA guys.
Yeah.
It only makes sense that even if WWE aren't, but look, I do believe that WWE, if not a majority share, there's something going on there. But even still, you're able to go in and go, oh yeah, Christian Cage. Go watch.
You got Christian Cage.
Stuff,
who's wrestling John Moxley in a cage for the world title on Dynamite? Samoa Joe.
This makes sense.
Who's like still a top guy in WWE? AJ Styles.
Absolutely.
Like, this is.
But look,
it is a really fair point you make.
There's some way where they're like, you know what? Just put it up there. And there's obviously the revenue they're getting from the video. Here's the thing. The revenue they're getting from the videos anyway, they own it. I mean, it's there. It doesn't make any sense.
And it's there
in the way.
In perpetuity.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't even be worth their while. Like, if it would be sad to see if they were bought by WWE and then WWE took all that and stuck it on Netflix or...
Not, well, to be fair, WWE have launched the WCW channel, so I do think...
That's... Yeah. Have you watched any of it? Is it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, very good.
Weird choices. There's an intern there just picking random stuff that they just find interesting.
Have they even paid an intern to do it, or is it just AI?
I don't know.
Is it just an AI bot that picks random?
Listen, I
coming up tonight, Thursday, 22nd of July, 1996.
No,
Thunder.
Thousand Thunder. That's what I'm saying. There's just weird stuff there that makes no sense.
Main event, Disco Inferno
versus Norman Smiley. So I don't know, but like I do think this is
so. It's like a joke, but it's so.
It was a match. It was a match from Thunder in 2000.
Oh, Thunder! You had so much potential.
No, it didn't.
Oh, it did. It could have been great,
but it wasn't.
When Nature was firing on all cylinders. Another 2 hours of Thunder Martin, could have been amazing.
You're very close to me going,
I didn't say I want to see.
WWE.
I didn't say I want to see. I said it could have been.
I just wanted to call it out because this is how we ended up watching Hardcore Justice 2010.
No, I've learned.
But no, I mean, like, I think a lot of the future of YouTube is going to be that, where they just upload all, because it's 20-year-old content. Like, I mean,
yeah,
the DVDs, actually, probably why they're doing it. DVDs aren't a thing anymore. They are, but they aren't.
And aren't we the worst off?
We are. But like lots of Fremantle Media and Silvervision before it, were doing WWE DVDs for years. They just stopped doing it. So now it's like either it sits on a vault for years and nobody watches it, or they make money off it. It's a revenue stream.
Yeah. Do you know what is genuinely saddens me?
What?
Is that I don't and can't have a DVD collection of every AEW pay-per-view.
Because they don't do them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, sometimes they do, but in really limited
runs, yeah.
Yeah. But my God, I would love like a DVD collection of every AEW pay-per-view. But then look at the other things. Like, imagine 3-hour triple disc best of Rampage. Because like Rampage was, a lot of the times it was not great, but often it had some amazing stuff on it. Look at then wrestlers that Brody Lee. Imagine the best of Brody Lee in AEW. Like,
see, I just think it's one of those things where, like, by moving to a streaming service, you have this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's left this very interesting point where it's like this older content. You can't, like, I think we moved past like the streaming service as a thing where it's like everything needs a streaming service.
Yeah.
So it's like AEW is on Max.
Yeah.
And sometimes Prime, depending on where you are.
And Triller and...
Yeah. WWE is on Netflix, right? So where does everyone else go? YouTube. You know?
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. It's a weird byproduct that I didn't think we'd get. But the fact that WCW has its own channel, it's also very weird.
I think it's one of those progresses that wasn't really progress. I think DVDs, not DVDs specifically, but even going back to like tapes and stuff. Like, how many people learned about wrestling from
tape libraries?
Sharing tapes? You know, I think it's a key part of the history that maybe should have been. Look, progress is progress. DVDs cost money to produce physical things, blah, blah, blah. I'm not calling for it to happen. I'm just saying it's a shame. That's all.
No, it is. Like when Fremantle Media stopped doing WWE DVDs, I was like, oh.
The only thing I don't miss about Fremantle was they used to start all their DVDs with Silvervision.
Silvervision. Yeah.
Silvervision takes you inside the ring and
Inside
beyond the ropes. And I'm like, but that's just back outside of the ring. You go inside the ring and beyond the ropes. You're just back out of the ring.
Unskippable ads. Unskippable ad where you're like, okay, listen, I've seen this ad. Like, I'm not going to try this at home. Can we just
not
watch?
on DVD, baby? The only unskippable ads on DVD were the anti-piracy ones at the end,
which ironically had your man. They stole the music.
Yeah, for the
For anyone that doesn't know,
you wouldn't steal a movie. You wouldn't shoot a baby.
For anyone that doesn't know, the music that was on that ad was actually not paid for to be used the way it was. So the anti-piracy ad had music that was pirated technically.
That is amazing.
It's so funny. And you end up having to give it like
a couple of years ago, the chief constable of the PSNI rocked up to some meeting and journalists were taking photos of his car, and then they noticed that it had no tax. The tax had run out on it.
It's literally that.
He was driving an untaxed car.
Oh, that's too funny. But like, it's literally that kind of thing where it's just like, you can't make this up. This is too perfect, you know? All right. Last match that we're going to talk about. This one is interesting, Martin, because like it's with Samoa Joe. It's a TNA steel cage match, and Sabu has a broken arm. Legitimately.
Yes.
It's during Samoa Joe's Titanic run with the X Division belt, where he just would kill X Division guys.
Genuinely looks like a killer.
Yeah.
The only thing when we were talking about this was Samoa Joe is one of those guys who looks far better without hair.
Like The Rock.
Because he's got this like jet black hair, but with a coif or a quiff in it. And because of his Samoan complexion, it just looks like Italian mafia.
It's funny because in the main event Mafia, I don't think he was in it.
No, he wasn't even in.
He wasn't in the main event Mafia, so that's just pretty funny. But this one is a sleeper one. It's one we've talked about on the show a couple of times, Baron, but you've actually never seen it until today.
No.
What did you think about this as not only a Sabu match but also like a cage match?
Right. So one thing I love about cage matches, I'm not a big fan of the escape the cage match. I like the cage as a structure for keeping two guys in and keeping interference out and keeping two guys who want to kill each other, keep them in like the same confined space.
Like penned animals.
Perfect. Like penned animals. the broken arm, even if I hadn't known it was shoot, and now that I know it was shoot, makes it even more impressive. But even if I hadn't known it was shoot, it gives it that thing where Sabu is not just this penned animal, but this injured animal. You know, injured animals lash out.
Well, there's a bit in it where he has a screwdriver and he legitimately stabs him in the leg. And then the referee has to be like, no, and takes the screwdriver off him. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think he actually really hurt him there.
There's a bit in it where, so he has a screwdriver and he genuinely gives it to Joe in the leg. And in the next sequence of moves, Joe gives it to Sabu in the broken arm. And you have to wonder, is this great wrestling or is that a receipt?
I think it was a receipt trade where it's like, you stabbed me in the leg. I'm going to actually break your arm more. But like this whole match, it's really, really good because Sabu gets over even by losing because he's injured.
Yeah.
And he's not outclassed, he's just injured. Like, he comes off strong, throws the chair into his face, does the Sabu spots, gets worn down, and near the end, he only really gets set up for the finish because he tries to go over the top and can't.
Yeah, he does some awesome, like, not out of the ring spots, obviously, because there's a cage, but he sets up the chair to do his out of the ring spots.
And bounces off it.
Bounces off the rope.
So cool.
Or jumps onto the cage, and then, like just pinpoint accuracy, grabs onto the cage, turns, pivots in midair, and turns it into like a plancha or his double leg drop, or like a whole slew, like just genuine innovator.
Absolutely. And it's like, it's one of those, like the 6-sided ring. I really like 6-sided ring.
Yeah.
I do think, again, we were saying, you know, there's reasons why, you know, I think bringing it back for Lockdown, it's a great idea, like a lockdown match. Because the thing is, when you're watching this, you can see how he's able to use every part of the cage, which you couldn't get with a 4-sided cage.
No.
You just couldn't.
And so we talked about how the 6-sided ring has a lot of positives and negatives. So, I mean, it has a lot of negatives. But I think the big positive is that it distinguishes them from everything
like it
else.
looks like TNA immediately.
I get that wrestlers didn't like it. I get that it was probably difficult to work in. But I completely agree with you. I think one pay-per-view a year.
Yeah, Lockdown.
Yeah. And not for one match, for one pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And like, it should just be what Lockdown is. They shouldn't sell it as if the 6-sided ring is like a Hell in a Cell, like real dangerous or anything. No, it should just be, it's Lockdown. It's old school TNA.
Because like the Lethal Lockdown match, which would be the main event of Lockdown, looks so much better.
And it has to be in a 6-sided ring, the Lethal Lockdown.
Well, it doesn't have to be, but it looks weird.
But that's what it's,
it looks like WCW's Triple Cage otherwise.
Exactly.
So
when it's in it's kind of like when we talk about like the King of the Mountain match or the X Division match, it's one of those things that is iconic TNA. And I think it's legitimately worth bringing back for one pay-per-view a year.
Here's the thing, you know, going back and watching this TNA stuff, and I'm really glad we're able to do it now because TNA is in a really good position, having a resurgence rather. I think if TNA do want anything like this, they should look back into their past, pull this stuff back, bring it to the modern age.
Here,
and it makes so much sense.
I'm not a TNA guy, but if I heard, TNA's doing a 6-sided ring pay-per-view, I'd watch that.
King of the Mountain would be great for, I'd
absolutely tune in for that.
The reverse battle royale, maybe don't do that one. You know, there are some like goofy ones.
Not saying,
don't bring it all.
Bring it all back.
Don't give Vince Russo a call and be like, hey bro, do you want to come back? No,
cherry pick this.
Cherry pick it, yeah. Just pick the good stuff. And definitely Lethal Lockdown in general, 6-sided ring for one pay-per-view a year. That's great. And it's again, because you get to see what innovators like Sabu was able to do with it. Can you imagine the younger wrestlers now in a 6-sided cage?
Yeah.
That would be really cool. You know, like they already
so much for them to learn, but also so many opportunities for them to innovate.
Exactly.
And for them to set themselves apart from the crowd in a way that they can't, in other companies that only have the 4-sided ring.
And again, like it's, as you said, if you know, as a non-TNA follower, really, like week to week.
Yeah. If I heard they were doing
they're doing that, they'd be like, oh, actually,
I'd 100%
it
tune
would
in
have
for
the
that.
same appeal as the Royal Rumble.
Can you imagine if you log on to social media one day and TNA is like, it's back. 6 side, 6 side, 6 side, 6 side, 6 side, 6 side.
And then they're like, send me a check.
But I genuinely think people would.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Like the thing about it is, it's like
And you know,
you do that, you have your novelty, and
Yeah.
again, like the Royal Rumble, even if it's a bad
I think
match,
it'd be like the Royal Rumble. I think it'd be like
Wargames.
the Continental Classic. I think it'd be something that people who don't even regularly watch would tune in for.
because of the spectacle of it,
100%.
and the fact that it's one a year, like it's
Yeah.
money on the table. And I think like we were talking with WWE, leave it like a couple of weeks ago, talking about the museum leaving it on the table. I think TNA not going into their past, cherry picking it. They're also just leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
Also, the WWE games, right? The most recent one is the TNA pack, right?
That's how close the relation there's a TNA pack.
There's loads of TNA guys there, like Morrison.
But is that an
it's not
official?
called the TNA pack, but
All
it
right.
has TNA guys.
Okay.
But
But it kind of it shows
It's-
where the relationship's heading.
what I'm saying is, you could have that as DLC, where you have a 6-sided ring in it with a bunch of TNA guys from the past. Get Sabu in it that way. You know, it's just it just makes no sense to not do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like there is, look, people talk about TNA's past as if it's like
A bad thing.
Yeah,
Well, it
as
never
if
was.
It's byword for shoddy wrestling or whatever. People did the same thing with WCW as if it was a byword for shoddy. But there is so much in there that is worth preserving.
Look, the WCW one, I think, is more justified because of how deep the fall was. But even still, when we were going through the 2000 shows, they were really good. They were getting back on track.
Particularly the last two or
3 months. Yeah.
We're really, like,
We're really
watching
good.
this going, like, so we went into that WCW arc thinking, oh my God, what a slog. And some of it was just the worst wrestling you'll ever see. But man, when we get into the last couple of pay-per-views, we're like, this is something we would watch.
Yeah.
This is potential. Like, if this had been saved, this could have been something.
You know what, though? I think it was. And you know where it was saved?
In TNA.
2005. 2005 to 2007. That's where you get it. And I don't say that as a joke. I mean, legitimately.
No, you're right.
Sitting in there, and that's kind of when. And if you're watching it from that mindset, I remember saying it to Dixie Carter. I was like, she was like, "Well, what's TNA like to you?" I'm like, "Well, it's WCW. Best parts of WCW mixed with ECW guys." And she was like, "No, we're our own thing." I'm like, "No, you're that." Like, you know.
Yeah, and that's not a bad
And that's
thing.
not a bad thing. And like it was it made it very unique. Having the 6-sided ring there as well definitely helped. But the approach was a huge thing. So I mean, like, again, if you haven't seen this playlist, we are going to pop it below because
Yes.
it's totally worth your time. It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, sit down and watch it. Sit down and skip through it. Pick the matches. You know,
Yeah,
but
like as I said, some of it repeats because
yeah,
it is what it is. But I would say even, you know, the only one that's a hard skip is the Hardcore Justice.
yes,
That's the only one that I'm like, it doesn't really do anyone any favors. But everything else is top notch. The 3 we've talked about, definitely a good primer if you've never seen Sabu for some reason,
Yeah.
or never seen Sabu outside of ECW.
outside of, God forbid, outside of WWE.
There were 3 really good WWE matches, to be fair.
My abiding memory of it is when he was supposed to wrestle, and then Vince McMahon just went,
yeah.
"Ugh, what are you? Get off my show!
But he was just
What?
all of a sudden replaced.
What are you doing?" Oh,
It-
God,
it-
that was in one of those dreadful like Cyber Sundays, or was it?
No, it was December to Dismember.
Oh,
Remember, he was replaced with Test.
the ECW pay-per-view
Yeah.
to replace Sabu.
With Test.
Vince McMahon, burn in hell.
He's not dead.
Burn in hell alive.
Oh man. So Martin, closing words on Sabu and on this playlist.
Just a phenomenal wrestler. An absolute, look, nobody's going to say he was the best technical wrestler in the world, but a man who saw a crowded market and made a unique position for himself. A tremendous athlete, somebody who like really genuinely gave his body over to the fans. But most of all, in my short experience with him, a genuinely nice, humble, friendly human being. And look, if I'm someone who met him for 40 minutes and I miss him, I can only imagine how his friends and family feel.
Absolutely. We'll leave it there, folks. Thank you so much for checking us out. If you want more of this content, please do subscribe, like the podcast, the video. That helps us a lot. Leave a comment below. What's your favourite Sabu match from TNA, from ECW, from WWE, from WCW, or from the Indies? We'll be back next week here on the Wrestling Rewind. Bye, guys.
Keep on it.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.